Okay, I think this thing is on. Let me see. Yeah, settings. Oh wait, it's recording? Oh gosh! Thanks again for having some interest in my behind the drawings videos. I just hope that you'll enjoy this one as much as you enjoyed the last one. You know, the scorpion video that I made. The last one. You did watch it, right? Not guilt tripping, but if you're watching this one, you have to watch the other one. That's just how it works. Gotta get those likes. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I am not making them like in a schedule. I'm just making them with each inspiration that comes to mind. With each passionate. No, that doesn't work. Whenever I feel like it. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now, and you can enjoy the video. Thank you. Peace. Should I end it like that? I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. Hello and welcome. My name is The Wonder Boy, and this is another episode of my series I like to call Behind the Drawings. In this episode, I'm going to show you the creation process for my fan-made work of RaumTheFallen Angel. The crow, nature's most cunning creature of the air and the most notorious bird in man's history. Fallen angels, the followers of Satan and outcasts of heaven, they are demons who know only chaos, waiting for the day their master shall rise and ravage the earth at the end of time. Both are known to be messengers of death, disease, and destruction, and both are seen in legends and stories throughout human history. It's these two dark and foreboding entities that I have put together to create an illustration for the character of Raum. This is Raum, the fallen angel of the best-selling two-book series, The Crowfield Curse and The Crowfield Demon. After my first video, I was racking my brain to try and figure out what to make next in this series. The trouble was, I felt that if I tried too hard to just come up with any random thing, the quality of the work and the video just wouldn't be right. So I decided to wait until I was inspired by something. After a couple of days, my sister brought home this book from my local library for me. I love books, so a new story in an era I love most sounded interesting, and I started reading it. Set in 1347, the story follows monk's apprentice, William, as he finds himself caught up in a battle between light and dark forces that seem to surround the abbey where he lives. After discovering a creature called a hob tangled in a trap, Will's eyes are opened to the magical creatures around him. There are many fey creatures, old pagan gods, ghosts, and healers, and a secret buried deep in the woods. Now, in the second book in the series, The Crowfield Demon, William is given the job of repairing floor tiles in a haunted side chapel. There he finds a box from an earlier pagan time, containing a small wooden bowl covered with strange warnings and symbols. The bowl is cursed, and a hideous demon is unleashed within the abbey walls. Once I had finished reading the two books, which were written by Pat Walsh, I actually knew what I wanted to draw. It was knowing how to draw it that was the hard part. In the book, Raum is seen as an old and powerful entity with the body of a human, but the head of a crow. I wanted to stick with this. It sounded to me like the perfect combination for the drawing I had in mind. But, being me, I also wanted to do some research on both the crow part and the fallen angel. So, I did what I always do. Starting off with researching the crow was my main thought, since it would be more bird in some places than person. And it was extremely interesting to learn new things about this animal. Crows are blackbirds known for their intelligence and adaptability, and for their loud, harsh caw. They also have a reputation for damaging crops. However, their impact may be less than previously thought. These birds are all part of the Corvidae family, which includes jays, magpies, and nutcrackers. And no, not this nutcracker. This one. In literature, crows and ravens are a bad omen and are associated with witches. Most people believe they steal, eat other birds' eggs, and reduce the populations of other birds. Also, crows sometimes appear as a method of divination and prophecy. In some mythologies, crows are seen as a sign of bad things to come, but in others they are considered to be messengers from gods. Crows often appear as trickster characters in folklore and legend. Now, here's an interesting fact that you might not have known. According to the mythological narration, Apollo, the sun god, sent a white raven, or crow in some versions, to spy on his lover, Coronis. When the raven brought back the news that Coronis had been unfaithful to him, Apollo scorched the raven in his fury, turning the animal's feathers black. That's why all ravens are black today. Or all crows. After I felt I knew enough about crows and how to draw wings, like, those things are hard to draw, like, really hard, I moved on to fallen angels, which is a vast subject, but I'll smush it down to the basic description of them. Fallen angels are wicked or rebellious angels that have been cast out of heaven. The term is found neither in the Hebrew Bible nor the New Testament. Nonetheless, biblical commentators often use fallen angel to describe angels who sinned or angels cast down to earth from the war in heaven, Satan, demons, or certain watchers. The term has also become popular in fiction and literature regarding angels. Now, drawing a combination of the two things and making one new thing is easy enough to do, but to do it the right way, that's a little bit harder. I went looking for half creatures for some inspiration. I was thinking more along the lines of a person's shape, but still crow-like. And as I looked, I found out some very interesting stuff about half creatures. Among the shape-shifting lycanthrope and cursed werepeople. A lichen, or lycanthrope, is a mythological creature of Greek origin. The Greek folktales described Lycan as a naked man who ran through the streets, biting anyone he encountered using his bare teeth, aka me on a Monday without coffee. Some other folklore described it as lunacy. As time passed, these narratives transformed into what we know today as the story of men transforming into wolves or other animals. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lycanthrope sounds a lot like a werewolf. But here's the difference. A werewolf is a folkloric creature of English origin. The English folktales described a werewolf as a man who transformed into a wolf at night and gobbled humans, corpses, or animals. However, during the daytime, they transform into human beings. Also, the term lichen was first mentioned in Greek folklores, while werewolf traces its origin in Old English folklore, specifically in the Americas following the Spanish invasion. Now, to add a little more to the subject, a lichen and a werewolf are two distinct mythical or folklore creatures. Although both of them transform into wolves from humans, there are considerable differences between them. The difference between a lichen and a werewolf is that the former can shapeshift at any place or time. The latter, on the other hand, transform automatically on a full moon night and can't control such transformation. Here's looking at you, Lupin. All this was very interesting to me and helped with the decision to make this piece less like a strict human changing into something and more like a good mesh of the two separate creatures. So I kept looking for something along those lines and ended up finding this. This is a were-raven. Were-ravens were amongst the wisest lycanthropes in the realms, and had a genius intelligence. They were good-willed, but uncommon. These werebeasts had three forms: human form, giant raven form, and hybrid form. Only natural were-ravens could assume all three forms, whereas infected were-ravens could only assume the human form and one of the other two. When transforming into one of the non-human forms, the being grew feathers from its skin, which slowly turned into large wings, allowing them to be proficient in aerial combat. In this process, the arms would stretch to accommodate the wings, whilst the mouth transformed into a beak. Now, the origin of this interesting character is actually from this thing called the Forgotten Realms. The Forgotten Realms is a fictional alternate world that has been published as a campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons, or D&D. The setting is also referenced in the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons core books, though it has not yet been published as its own separate setting. It was originally created in 1967 as a setting for short stories by Ed Greenwood, but it has since become one of the most enduring campaign settings for D&D. Now, armed with all of this information, I finally had a concrete idea for what I was looking for, and I started the drawing process. Okay, you've heard my process. Now I'll stop talking for a bit and let you enjoy the time lapse. I'll see you at the end of the video. Alright, you made it to the end. Congratulations. You get a cookie. You did great. You did really great. Thank you so much for finishing the video, or at least just watching it and skipping to the end to act like you saw it. So when I ask you if you saw it, you'll be like,
"Oh yeah, it was so great. I loved it so much."
I know who you are. I know the fakiness. You can't do that to me. I know.
I know where you live.
Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and expect more in the future. I don't know when. Alright, until next time, bye.